Hey everyone, Lou Clark here, and today I have another really cool interview for you. Today it's with my dear friend Charissa Lynn, and she's going to talk all about how she started her business while she was a kindergarten teacher for the sake of feeding the kids fresh fruit, and how now she's a massive corporation selling all across the world, and she's opened up a second business. But before we get to that interview, please make sure you visit the description below so you can see all the awesome links to different videos, resources, programs, and how you can connect with me outside of YouTube. All right, let's go over to Charissa's interview. Charissa, thank you so much for coming on my YouTube channel and allowing me some time with you to connect with you. But also, I adore you so much. Like I said in the intro, Charissa and I do a lot of chatting back and forth in our Instagram DMs, and we literally live 7 minutes from each other. But I don't think we've actually seen each other in person in probably two years, maybe. Like, it's been a long time.
Yeah. I think it's at a restaurant. Maybe the last time.
It's crazy. So I'm so excited that I finally get to share with my community the awesomeness that is Charissa. So why don't you start with telling us about you? Tell me about you. Like, just tell us.
All right. Yeah. Where do we begin? This is always, a confusing thing to say because if anyone knows about human design, I'm a manifesting generator, which I believe you are too,
I think so.
Lou. Lou. I have to keep remembering. So, yeah. So we kind of have our hands in all sorts of things. So, yeah, I'm a mother of three little ones. And yeah, we live like 5 minutes away from each other. So, London, Ontario. And I'm a full-time school teacher, but I will not be a school teacher next year because I own a corporation. It's called Crushed. People always go, what is it? Crushed Aftercare. So I make natural vegan aftercare products for beauty businesses worldwide. Here's the other thing I do. I'm a psychic intuitive. So school teacher, CEO of beauty products, and I'm a psychic intuitive and I do private business coaching. Did you get it all?
Yes. And she's a wife and a mom. So like, I just want
Yes.
you to hold on to this for a second. Just this is what 2020 has brought Charissa. She's a wife, a mom of three children. She owns Crush Aftercare, which, by the way, all the lipsticks you see me wear are Carissa's, just so you know. Yeah, see, we both were like twinsies. She has, and then she also has her intuitive coaching business for businesses. Like, and you're doing so much. So this is where I want to connect you with the community, because there are a lot of people out there who are like, I can't have a side hustle, or I can't run multiple things, or I can't run a business and have kids. And I'm not meaning for this to be at all like a mommy interview, because it's not where this is going. But one thing I love about you is, like, you had side hustles. Like, you were from what I understand, and you can go into the story, but you actually taught, is it kindergarten in
Yeah.
person, and then you started Crushed on the side. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I was on my maternity leave 5 years ago from that kindergarten position. And because I'm always someone who likes to be busy and doing something that fulfills me besides, having children. Although when I was younger growing up, I thought that would be completely fulfilling.
Yeah.
I was like, I just want to be a mom and I want to be a wife. And then when I was like, no, I need something more. Like I need something for me. And so that's how I started making lip balms and bath bombs. It was more just to, dabble into something new. And at that time, I had actually been thinking about the kids in my kindergarten class who didn't have healthy food options. I was like, how could I, purchase some when I get back from my mat leave for them to have fresh apples and bananas. So I'm like, oh, I could make this product and sell it. So that's actually how it really started. And I called it Fruit for Kindy Kids. And I would drop off fruit to the classrooms, even though I wasn't there that year, from some of the money I had made at the time. I really forget this story because it was 5 years ago and I've evolved into now a production space and a corporation from that. So yeah, that's how it began, and it just snowballed from there.
So in 5 years, you went to producing products in your home that you were selling to provide fruit to kindergartens. To 5 years later, you're incorporated, where
Mhm.
your husband is your business partner, which high fives on that one. And you're in your own production space. 5 years. What happened? Like, what? Like, there are people who do 5 years at something and it doesn't move. So, Carissa, what did you do differently?
Well, I mean, a lot of it, you could say it was synchronicities or being somewhere at the right time or meeting the right person at the right time. So I did have my bath bombs and soaps, go into the local stores around here. And that was me reaching out and contacting those people and saying, hey, I have this product. And that's how it began, where I was like, ooh, this is actually turning into something besides just selling to my friends and my family. Well, I happened to get my lashes done, get some lash extensions. And this is where the synchronicity comes in, right? Because I had never done it before. But if you believe in universe guiding you down your path, then you'll be open to this and open to the opportunities. So when I had gotten my lashes done by this lash artist in London, she said, can you make a balm, a natural BALM balm for microblading for eyebrows? And I'm the type, so this is also key too. So, being open to opportunities, but it's also key to not say no. Like, you say yes in the moment and then you figure it out. So if an opportunity comes your way that feels good to you, obviously, you don't say yes to things that are not aligned with you. So she said, can you make this aftercare? I had no idea how to make this aftercare. I was only making bath bombs and soaps and lip balms. But I went home, I said to her, absolutely. And in my mind, I'm going, how do I make this? But I went home and I did the research and I was like, I'm not saying no to this opportunity to make an aftercare for a microblading artist. So I went, did the research, formulated, made it, and she loved it. And then she posted about it. And this is where it grows, because then she tagged me, and then big companies who were friends with her or followed her on Instagram then reached out to me. And it was a snowball effect again.
So, with Crushed, how many different products do you have and what are they?
Yeah, so currently I now focus on aftercare for beauty businesses. So I've niched down, this is what I do. And I think this is key too, because there's so many beauty products out there. And I have a lot of people reach out and say, can you make this? Can you make a beard balm? Can you make soaps? And I did do that at the beginning. But now, like, this is what I've decided. This is what I'm doing. I'm going international. So I now am called Crushed Aftercare, where I used to be Crushed with Love. So there's intention too when you're growing, right? Like, what do you want your brand to be? Who do you want to be? And mine was aftercare for all the beauty businesses worldwide. So focusing on lash cleansers for lash extensions, the brow balm for aftercare for microblading. And our biggest hot product is Arnica lip balm for after lip injections, because everyone's getting the lip injections. So that's our big products. And then I make other product that I can't talk about because I'm actually in contracts with companies.
That's amazing. And when you make these products for these companies, like the ones you discussed, you actually put their labels. Like, it's not your product with your label, it's your product with their label on it.
Yeah. And actually, that was a little bit hard for me to be okay with. So when I first started off again, and I was, doing the bath bombs for local stores and soaps, I had a company ask me, can you make soaps, but brand it with my labels? And then I had a microblading artist ask the same thing. And for a little bit, I was like, do I want that? Because this is my baby, like Crushed with Love with my logo. Like, don't I want it to be about me? Don't I want my stuff to go worldwide? But the need was there. So this is also another thing, is to pay attention to what customers are asking and what need is out there. And there was a need. People were wanting and desiring their own branded products. So I let go of, that ego side and thought, wait a minute, there's an opportunity. I think this is bigger than, me competing with the millions of other beauty products out there. And so once a microblading artist asked to have it branded, and I said, let's do this, she then tagged me, put it on Instagram. And then that's when it blew up even more, because then everyone loved it and they want their own product. Like, who doesn't want that? And then they don't even have to make it. All they have to do is order it. I do all the work, right? So
And you mentioned a few minutes ago that you're now international. Not that I don't know if you can share which countries that you've been made like that made you international, but how, like, is this all through like Instagram or social media?
yeah, that's why like I'm all, if you follow me on Instagram, I'm always like, come on, get on the Instagram train, because this is where majority, like 90% or more of my sales are strictly through Instagram. And that's just from other artists tagging me, or on my own platform, using the hashtags as
Yeah,
well for
that's
people to find me.
incredible. So here we are 5 years from selling it for fruit. Like, I'm going to talk to the community for a second. So if you're listening to everything Carissa's saying, pretty much everything she's doing is for other people. Like, she started her company to get fruit for kindergartens. Then she moved into what she could make for people. And then she got rid of what she said, I got rid of the ego and put people's branding on my products. Like, everything Charissa does is literally for everyone else. That being said, we know Charissa, she's incorporated. Carissa's being taken care of financially very, very well because she's serving other people. And I think that is uberly, like, that's so cool. So I want to jump into the other side of what you do, which is your business coaching. And I look, see, do you guys see how excited? Like, she's like, okay,
Let's get into this
let's get into it.
one. This is
So
what lights me up.
yeah, right. It's like, and that's the thing. I want the community to understand. Like, I want you watching to understand that something you start as fun or a side hustle can really explode into something great. And when it does, it doesn't mean you can't start something else. And now Carissa has these two parts that are literally exploding, and she's handling it so well. But what I want to know, which I think the community would love to know, is how did you get in? Like, how did you get into business coaching? Like, bath bombs and aftercare to coaching businesses. So I'd love for you to share a bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, when you're growing a business, you should be doing some sort of development for yourself. And so I was picking up, the Gary V books and She Means Business by Carrie Green. And I was reading all those books. And this was the time when I had Benson, my 3-year-old. And you and I think, had just kind of met around this time. And yeah, I was just reading those books and I was getting motivation to not only have this business, but to also be a leader. So I was getting these ideas on, how you can show up by starting a podcast or a community group. So a few years ago, that's what I did. I started my podcast. I started a Inspiring Women in Business group. And that was literally from reading these books. And I still do. I listen to something every single night. I listen to a podcast, whether it's business related, or I watch Gaia because it's spiritual, and that is a big part of me as well. So the learning journey doesn't end. And so when I would show up in this leadership position and role, I had people reach out to me. I didn't know I was going to be a coach.
Mm-hmm.
I had people come to me and say, are you a coach? Because I want you to be mine. Because they saw me doing these live videos, running a Facebook group, having a podcast, like showing up as a leader. And that's how it started.
And we forgot to mention that, guys, at the beginning. She also has a podcast. Like, I'll let you know, all of Chris's links will be in the description below, so you can connect with her on all different levels. And I mean that energy wise too, all different levels. So you got into business coaching, but then I've noticed for you, you're still doing business coaching, but you've had a little shift or a little pivot. And for me, when I really recognized it was maybe a year and a half ago, when you started talking about moon energy. And then I was like, I'm a little interested in what she's saying, because I believe in universal energy and I believe in nature and I believe in all of that. And then you started shifting into like, I don't even want to say it because I don't want to mess it up. But I want you to share about your paintings, like your coaching, your paintings, the intuitive part, because that seems to have really blown up for you over the last few months. Like I remember saying to you, like, hey, we should talk about me getting one. You're like, well, I'm booking. It was 2 months out that we
Mhm.
were booking, like you're booking these sessions. So talk about those really cool sessions.
Yeah, so my aura psychic sessions. So I'm the type of person where when I get a hit or I feel very excited about something, I act on it. Like I don't wait, I don't hold it back, I do it. So I was actually inspired by watching a Gaia episode, and it was an aura psychic reader. And I hadn't really ever heard of it before, and I was very intrigued. So right away, I ordered her books. And this was just this past November. Read the books. I was like, I've been reading auras my whole life. And there's different, some people can physically see an aura, which
Yeah.
is very rare because of our physical capacity. Okay, our actual physical
Yeah.
capacity of our eyeballs. Some people can, but you can read people's energy and their colors, and every color has a characteristic to it. So I just dove into it. I literally did it with one of my coaching clients. I said, can I do this on you? Let's just try this out. And I brought in the watercolors so I wanted the client to see what I was feeling and seeing. And when I say when I'm seeing it with my third eye, with my mind's eye, which we all have a third eye. We all have this ability to see things, right? To see a vision. It's like if I tell you right now, picture an apple. You're seeing an apple somewhere over here, right? This is how we do it. This is how psychics see things. Most of us, it's like a movie playing in your mind's eye. And that's the same as auras. I can feel someone's energy. I can see it and know their aura without meeting them, and they can live across the world as well.
That's amazing. And so what you do is you take a picture from the internet from them, like from their profile, and then you literally sit in your space, uh, physical, spiritual space, and you literally use the colors around their photo. Like they're the most gorgeous photos that I've just seen her paint. And then through that, you'll even get like symbols. Like I remember like a butterfly would show up or a
Yeah.
lion just in the way that the colors would go together. And I know that's been a huge piece even for the last few months, because it's like I have 4 spots and like the next story would be like taken. I'm like, what?
Mhm.
Like it is so amazing to see how many people are connecting with you to tune into spirit, to tune into their own energy. And I know you've shared this on your Instagram, so I hope it's okay I'm bringing it up, but you recently shared how you put from Mormon to witch,
Mhm.
right? And I think that's one reason why you and I connect so well, is because regardless of the religion or whatever that was attached to it, we were so anchored in the church. And now it's like you've almost blossomed into being with God. Like it's not it's not a teaching anymore, it's a being. And I would love for you to talk a little bit about how you get yourself aligned. Like if I'm just starting out and I'm like, okay, this energy thing sounds really good. Like, do I sit on the floor, cross my, legs and hold my fingers? I don't even know how they do it, but hold their I don't even know how, because I don't do it this way. But
Yeah.
hold their fingers in seance. Like, how do you get into like what I would call like the energy zone? How do you align to feel that the full body yeses and the connections?
Yeah, I'm one thing I'm very passionate about is that we are all intuitive and that there's no right or wrong way. And at the beginning of my spiritual journey, when I first started to dive into intuition and the whole spiritual realm, that was one thing that I found was missing. There was a lot of leaders out there, but it was like this way or the highway. And what I want everyone who's watching to know is there's no right or wrong way. It's about tuning into what feels good for you and your soul. And some people will say you need to meditate for hours on end. You need to meditate every single day. And I can tell you, I can get a message like this, and I do not meditate every day. I rarely meditate. And that's because I have 3 young children, and it just doesn't happen. And this is my time in my life that I'm in. And perhaps, and I know there will be a time where I can have that, sacred time, to sit and have that space to meditate. But my sacred space to tap into intuition is when I'm having my shower.
That's nice.
the messages come through because no one's interrupting me. And I'm in that flow state. When I get into my hot tub at night, the messages will come in just before I'm going to bed. That's when it comes in. And so I don't think there needs to be those rules, and it doesn't need to be overcomplicated. You're a spiritual being. You're an intuitive being. It's within you. Like, you are universe. You are God. Like, there's no separation, right, between infinite source. You are connected. And so there is no rules. I feel like the rules are very man-made, and that comes from ego. So it's really tuning into what feels good for you and go with that, and never think, oh, I didn't meditate today, I'm not going to get the messages, or I'm not a spiritual being. Just know you are one, and that is who you will be, and that's what you'll create in your life.
And do you think, no, sorry, let me start that again. Do you believe that
Mhm.
life happens for you, or does life happen to you? Or like, what do you feel like that? Because there are people watching going, yeah, you're both in a really great place. That's why you can talk about how amazing life is and the energy, but I'm in a massive suck right now.
Hmm.
And so how, like, my one question is, to you or for you, right? Meaning like either it's happening ahead of you and you're catching up, which is the for you, but to you is you're embracing and living that, and maybe it's different words you use. But what do we say? What do you say to the people who are like, well, you can say life happens whatever way, but I'm in a suck right now, and how is this beneficial to me? How is this a good thing? Like, what do you think about all that kind of?
Yeah, I mean, I've been there. And that was a part, when you're asking about this spiritual journey, that was a huge pivot in my own life, was when I went through a stage where I was overwhelmed and stressed and feeling like life was happening to me and I was the victim. And I had to take a couple months off of my teaching position. There was, and it's not that there wasn't stressful things happening. I had a high behavior class. I had, my husband works these 12-hour shifts. I had two little ones at home. Things weren't working out with the before and after school. So I was stressed about my daughter going to that. So there was a lot on my plate, but I was also in a different emotional state of mind where it was, oh my goodness, everything's happening to me, anxiety, stress, and then and when I hit that breaking point, that's when I had to take those couple months off. And that's when I really dove into the spirituality. And I was like, I don't want to live like this. And I had to make the choice. And that's when I was reading the books, doing the mindset work. And it was an evolution of where I am today. And so even right now, there's a lot on my plate at this last month of teaching. And I've chosen to keep my son home from daycare at this point. And the old me who was there before would have said, life is happening to me. And I would have just crumbled down, maybe fallen to the floor, start crying, saying, how could this happen to me? But I know from my own experiences that that was happening for me. And it moved me into this direction. If I hadn't gone through that depression state of overwhelm, and I was diagnosed with depression at the time, I wouldn't be on the spiritual path. I feel like I was guided this way through that experience. And now I can relate to people who can say, but you're in this state, but I've made the choice, right? And I've had to do the work
Yeah.
to get here. And I believe that life is happening for us, and we do have the choice to choose. And I'm choosing right now to see, even though that this month may be stressful, that I'm going to grow and expand, and I can handle it because I am a powerful force and a powerhouse, and I can do it.
So I have so I have one more question, then I want to talk about money. Okay. Because you and I love money. I don't mean
Yeah,
like, okay,
there we
someone's
do.
gonna watch that and go, oh, the love of money is real. No, I just mean we love making it. We love talking about it. We love helping other people get it. But do you have mantras that you say on a regular basis to get you like pumped up? Or is there music? Like, what do you do? If you're in that funk right now,
Yeah.
what do you do? Is it mantras? Is it music? Is it words? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, definitely music is energy itself, and it has a vibration. And you can put on music and it can shift your vibration in a moment. And you guys all know it. Everyone watching, this, Lou. Like, you can put it on, and that's because there is an actual vibrational resonance,
Yeah.
right? And this is the part where it's like understanding that we're energy, right? And that we are connected to this music. So yeah, music, mantras. I mean, I'll say I'm a money magnet, right? Like those kind of things that people may laugh at. But when you're saying that, that also holds I can't speak, a vibrational resonance as well, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, saying that, and then that again is you really reprogramming your mind to believe that, reprogramming your subconscious mind.
I love it. Now I'm jumping into money. Like that, I mean, it's been off the charts. I know people watching this are going, I'm gaining so much wisdom and knowledge. You guys have to go and follow Chris on Instagram. Her links are below. I want to know this. The energy state that you're in, this being one with universal God, what everybody wants to call it, it's the same thing.
Mhm.
Has it helped you to make money?
Oh, well, I feel like it's perspective,
Okay.
really. I mean, I do. I work with magic. Like I work with the magic of the universe, and I think that's like a huge key to success, right? To success, I mean in happiness, joy, wealth, because you can have people who are successful, right? Like successful as in they have money, but they aren't happy or joyful. And I do feel like you need that connection with source energy. But also your perspective on money, like what is money? Right? It's energy too. And so what meaning do you give money? What does money actually do for you? Not thinking of money as that tangible product, but realizing the feeling and emotion and the things that you can do with the money or the experiences you can have. And when you shift your perspective onto, okay, that's what money is, then you don't look at it as this like bad or stressful thing.
Isn't it interesting that something that is tangible only, I don't actually, it's all in my piggy bank, so I was going to pull it out and look, but something that is like paper or is like plastic or is like coins can give someone such a negative energy. Like
Mm,
it's not the actual thing that's giving the energy, but it's what you just said. It's what are we giving that energy a name to? And so I find it really interesting. I watch you, like I sound like a creep, but I'm not a creep. I do, yeah. I watch you, I pay attention. I'm hopefully one of the most active people on your Instagram. And I see the ebbs and flows. And when Carissa's in her energy, when she's in her light, when she's living the way she is happy and designed and destined to live, the money flows because you will post at the end of the month, oh my gosh, biggest month
mhm.
ever. I think for the last 3 months, you've been the biggest month ever.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for May's post. But like, it's kind of like, I find, and I don't know if you agree, but when you're in a happy energy state, like no matter what's going on, we've got stuff going on. Everybody has
Mhm,
stuff in their life going on. But when you can pull yourself into that state, knowing you're one, and then realizing what is money to you, because I always say this, it doesn't matter if the money is coins or paper or plastic, or if it was rocks, or if it was
mhm,
flowers, or if it was dandelions. Like it doesn't matter. It's because we exchange it,
mhm,
and because people don't understand the exchange portion, and they don't understand the energy they're giving this exchange, that it throws them off. So when you become one with yourself and be like, I know all this is going on around me, but right now I feel good and I feel happy and I'm joyous and I'm relaxed. I find money flows a lot faster.
mhm, mhm,
Like flows. It ebbs, like it flows, not ebbs and flows, but it's like when you're in what you're meant to do, it flows because I can see it with you. The moment you went, okay, you know what? I am one. This is now called aftercare. Your business exploded because you were in the right energy. So how do you, I know you said like money isn't actually tangible. You have to understand its energy and what is it doing for you, because a lot of people let money control them,
mhm.
right? And our energy should be controlling the money. Like we tell our money what to do. We tell our money where to go. It can flow in, like just open up, right? But when we have it, what are we being responsible for? But how do you see the thoughts and patterns, beliefs, the energy that people put towards money? How do you feel that affects their outcome? So you coach with women who are in business, right? You have women who are coming in and they're like, I'm stuck, I need help. It's not like you're just going, here's my one-on-one plan on how to do such and such on
Mhm.
Instagram. You're working their energy. So what shifts have to happen, I guess, is where I'm at. Like, how does your energy relate to getting, receiving, using, buying, receiving money? How does that, what do you feel about all that?
Well, you have to be behind the energy of that money. So for instance, if we're talking about clients, I have a lot of clients who want to charge a certain amount, but they're not behind that energy. They don't even know what value they're giving. They're not clear on their offer. They may not feel like they're worthy of the money. A lot of people believe that money's almost like a bad concept
Mhm.
where they're taking away from other people, right? So especially in the spiritual realm. So I could have clients who, do Reiki or do readings, and they feel fearful to charge a certain amount. And so they have to get really clear on the exchange, because that's what money is. It's an exchange for the value that you're giving. So I know for myself, and this is where the pivot happened for me, and how I got so many bookings, even at higher pricing than what would normally be, is that I realized and I stood behind that energy. I embodied that energy that what I do, this is life changing. This can change someone's trajectory. You actually can't even put a price on the readings that I do, right? There's so much value in this reading that you cannot put a price on it. And so with my clients, I have to get them to realize that and to see their worth and to see their value. And money is like think of your money as like your best friend or your boyfriend, right? Like if you respect yourself and you see yourself as worthy, money's going to treat you the same way. So see yourself as valuable and realize the value you're giving your people. And then they're going to want to give you, like, throw the money at you because they want this value. But yeah, it does come down to the mindset of yourself, and that will
And
be
I love that
reflected.
because you'll put. I remember with the paintings, what the aura. I always say aurora. I don't know why it's so wrong. It's not a desk. The aura readings. You were like, it's this price, and then like a few weeks later, it's this price, and I was like, okay. And then next one, it's this price. I wrote you. I'm like, are people actually paying you that? You're like, yeah. I'm like, that's amazing. But because you realize how much you're delivering, right? It's there was a saying that I don't know if it was Picasso or whatever. Don't say whatever. I mean, not like in a rude way, but I always heard this analogy that someone saw like Picasso in a restaurant, handed him a napkin, said, "Would you draw my portrait?" And he does it in 10 minutes and says that'll be $10,000. She's like, "But it only took you 10 minutes." And he replies with, "But it took me 40 years."
Mm.
Right. And that's about knowing your worth. Like, even myself, I've really started to jump into what my worth is, and realizing that what we do is we solve problems to help people's lives become better, more equipped, more excited, drive their energy like forward, more excitable. Because I know with you, I'm sure when someone gets off the call, I know because I watch your Instagram, your clients will post right away, "Oh my gosh, I had the best telephone call with Carissa," and they'll like go, and then you write back like fire or whatever. So bringing that energy, there is, and in the spiritual realm, there is no price tag on that.
Mm.
Right? So I have a question. So the one thing you did say was to understand your worth. So what are a couple tips you can give someone who's watching that knows they should be charging more, but they just don't have that confidence that and belief in themselves to do that? What are a couple of things they could do?
Yeah, I mean, something that's so simple is sitting and writing a list. Like, write down exactly what your offering does for that person. What does it do for them?
Love that.
Sometimes people, you get so confused and you don't know. No, if you actually sit and you put the pen to the paper, then you'll get really clear and you'll go, oh my gosh, wait a minute. Look at what I do for these people. And then you really realize it. The other thing too that I tell people is to look back at the sessions they've already had or the testimonies they've received. We
Mm.
often overlook that. Go back to that. If you need to do it every single day, go into your testimony highlight reel, your highlight section of your Instagram, if you have Instagram, or just go back to those, or read messages from previous clients and be reminded of your power and of your worth and what you've done to transform people, or whatever your product or service is. But reflect on all of that, because I think we're just going and going and looking towards the future, And then we don't realize everything we've done or the impact we've already made or the lives that we've already changed. So revisiting that to grow your confidence.
Yeah.
And then the other thing about pricing is if you are just starting, I do recommend to start off at a lower price point so you can get the experience. You have the people come to you, and with the experience grows your confidence and your trust. And then with that experience, you can see, oh, this is the value. So once I started to continue to do a whole bunch of the aura readings, I was seeing the impact I was making. But you also have to remember you're a human being. So think about your energy. Are you going to keep doing 30, 50 readings a month at a low price point? So you also, as this is kind of off topic, but just
Good.
going back to when you do increase your pricing, you also want your ideal client. And that's how you're going to bring in your soul client who knows that you're the bomb, knows that you're going to, transform them and make that impact. And they're willing to give you the money because they see that value.
I love you said soul client. That is like
Mhm.
so good. I did a post on Facebook today and said like my clients are like my family. Like I've had a lot of the same client, no, sorry, a lot of the clients that I've had for over 15, 16, 17 years. Like I
Mhm.
can't imagine life without them. And there is a comment that comes up like, what are you gonna do if you retire or you did? And I'm like, I don't know. How do you say goodbye to family? Like it's right. And it's a
Yeah.
soul client. That's really, really cool. And to add to that, and Krista doesn't say it, but she shows it in her actions, is that when you are looking at when you are looking at increasing your rates or charging what you're worth, when you do it to serve others, the money will come. Just like when she was buying fruit for the kindergartens, it came. You're not charging obscene amount of money because you just want all the money. You're charging it because you know you're worth it. You understand how you're serving that client or that customer in whatever it is you're doing. So I know you have a big heart for serving. And a lot of people put the energy that goes with serving, a lot of people put like that's free, right? And I love you just did this is going to date when this video was recorded, but it's totally fine. You totally did a reel about picking the brain, and it was like, no,
Oh yeah.
no, no. And it was so perfect because serving doesn't mean free. And that's another energy alignment. So I love that you said all that. So just to wrap up, I do have one last question that you did not know I was asked. Actually, I just told you kind of what we would talk about, but this has totally been energy. Like I didn't even look up my notes. We've just
Oh,
been hanging out.
amazing.
But this is one I did not mention to you. So I have two, actually I'm gonna do two questions. One, and then one's fun and one's a little more in depth. If or when you have, let's say, multi-million dollars in your bank account,
Mhm.
does Charissa have a plan for what would happen? Is Charissa still going to
Hmm.
coach? Is she still going to keep crushed? What would Charissa do if, say, $5 million dropped in her lap in the next year? What would Charissa do?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So the Crushed Aftercare business, that will always be, but that one is already becoming self-run. So I see more employees. I see me doing less of, creating the labels and the shipping and packaging. So that would be self-run. And I would continue to do the coaching, but I see myself almost doing, actually, you're pulling this out of me right now. So thank you for this question. Some sort of like intuitive school.
Ooh,
Okay. So women in business can start to really use their intuition. And, I'm wanting to bring more power into this intuition, right? And confidence and women to feel sexy with their intuition. Like you don't really see that. And I think it's all tied together. So definitely, yeah, in that, leadership, coaching, still doing the intuitive, not so much the readings. I mean, I love to do those, but I see myself doing something more than that. And that's more in the training and the leadership.
I love you. And I use my intuition to ask you that question because it came out of nowhere. It is
Ah,
not one that I ask on any other thing. So maybe there's something in that for you. My
hmm,
last and final question. If you could go back to your 20-year-old self, your 20-year-old self,
yes.
what would you tell her?
Oh my goodness. Just enjoy the moment right now because everything is just going to be more than you could ever imagine. I'm getting teary-eyed
Mm.
saying that because yeah, I was so like in my 20s, anxiety. I worried so much about the future. And that stems from your childhood too, right? So yeah, I always worried so much. And I wish, and I even say to 20-year-olds now, or if I have younger clients, I'm like, just enjoy your moment right now. Like you have so much freedom. And, if I could go back to my younger self, it would be like, it's going to be bigger and better than you ever imagined. So enjoy the ride and it's all just going to work out for you.
Oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
love that. And that message is for you who's watching, no matter what
Mhm.
your age is. You're looking at two women right now that have a lot on their plate, that their lives are not perfect, but we're making the best of this ride. Like we're strapped in. Like I hate roller coasters, but if you want to put me on one, let's do it fast, let's do it
Oh God.
loud, and let's just do it like full of energy, right? And I love that you shared that with us. Well, Carissa, I am so thankful and so honored that you joined me here today. I have a feeling I'll be asking you to do this again in the coming months because you're just such a joy and a pleasure to hang out with. And I do feel like I'm talking to a spiritual sister, whether it's like this is the first time we've really seen our faces to each other. This is the closest we've been. We're side by side.
I know. Well, we're always voice messaging though on
Always voice
Instagram. So
messaging, always, and it's great. So all of Carissa's links are below, so make sure you go and connect with her. And if you know anyone who needs to hear this message today, please feel free to share this YouTube video with them because it's powerful. And I believe this will be one that many people will listen to over and over again. Carissa, any last words before we say goodbye?
well, thank you, Lou. This was such an honor.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. So until the next video, stay in your energy, find the joy, and if you don't know how to get there, throw on some music. And remember, life is such a blessing. You are a living, breathing miracle who is destined for a time such as this. You were put on this earth for this moment, for this time, even if you don't see it. Take that with you. I have no idea what I'm doing here, but Lou says I'm a miracle. You are. Gary Vee says, I'm sure you heard this, Chris. Gary Vee says,
Mhm.
the thought of you becoming a human at this exact moment in time is 4 trillion to 1. You're here for a purpose, my friends. And Chris and I, and people like us, are here just to help you, empower you, inspire you to find what it is you're truly meant to do here. So until next time, this is Lou saying, thank you for visiting. Subscribe, hit the like, go follow Carissa. We'll talk to you guys again soon.